Ladies and gentlemen, I often get a lot of questions in my videos, but I've never ever done a Q&A on the channel outside of my live streams, so I figured, why not do a video of a Q&A? Great idea, right? Okay, well, yeah, that's the point. I asked you guys on Instagram, I asked you guys on Discord, and I asked you guys here on YouTube to ask your questions, and you guys sent me a lot of good ones. So as I walk around the streets of Hoboken, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna answer some questions. So, yeah. Lysander Mixers on Discord asks, would you ever do a reaction live stream, like react to a YouTube video? Like people send something in a chat or a forums link and you will react to it. Yes, I would. As a matter of fact, usually when I do live streams, I'm very open to doing that. I haven't done it too often in them, but I'm always happy to do that. So if you have any videos you want to send or things you want me to react to, more than happy to do it whenever I go live. I don't have like a live schedule yet, but sooner or later I'll probably get in more of a habit of doing it. Right now it's just whenever I can is whenever I do it, to be honest. Here's another one that comes from Discord. It's Micah Bell who asks, do you think Ed Pelletier will return in the Daryl Dixon spinoff? He's my favorite character. I mean, I would love that if Ed came back, but that would be, honestly, that would be more monumental than like Carl or something coming back. But no, unfortunately, I don't think Ed's coming back. At least not for Carol. The Salamanca's on YouTube asks, who is your favorite Walking Dead character of all time? It could be from any media, show, game, comic, etc. I've said this in a lot of videos, but I gotta make my record. It's absolutely Negan. On every front, I am a huge Negan diehard. I love that character, in both the comic and in the show. I think he's just an incredible character. They're very different in both mediums, but they're both so good. Audrey Michelle on YouTube asked, is there a Walking Dead symbol, character, or quote that you'd actually consider getting as a tattoo? And the answer to that is no. I would never get a TV show as a tattoo. I do have two tattoos. I have one on my back and one on my thigh that I got drunkenly when I was in Atlantic City one night. None of them are shows, but I want to get a show on my body. Not my thing. Not my thing. It's cool if you do. Not for me though. RJ Cruz on YouTube asks, hey Jay, since you're into a lot of horror stuff, have you ever seen Supernatural? And if so, what are your thoughts on it? No, and I'm gonna be honest, I haven't really ever heard of Supernatural, so if you think it's worth me checking out, definitely let me know in the comments. I would love to hear if that's something you'd like to see on the channel, but haven't heard of it, don't know much about it. So yeah, Socially Patterned Defect 9580 on YouTube asks, you go see 28 years later. This is where you guys are gonna think I'm a thumb. I've never seen any of the 28s at all. Maybe I should, I don't know. I've heard a lot of good things, it's never happened. So one of these days I will. Matt Shellshock on Instagram asked what got me into video making. And I don't know that I have like a clear answer for that. When I was young, I did theater, and also at the same time I was really into tech, and I discovered Final Cut Pro and like some cool things you could do in there as well as in After Effects. So I was playing around with like some cool tricks on there that I learned from like some old people on YouTube who like taught those like tutorials about it. And I don't know, ever since then, I just got obsessed with the concept of like taking what I did from theater and applying it to what I liked with tech and like Final Cut Pro. And I started a channel for, okay, I never told anyone this really, so I'm telling you guys now for the first time. When I was 12, I self-published a book about Disney World. Which is crazy. If you ever find it, it is literally like the worst written thing in the world because I never got it edited and it literally sounds like a 12-year-old wrote it. But anyway, when I had published that on Lulu, I made a channel for it on YouTube to like promote the book, and I did videos like all about facts about Disney World. And then from there, I just like fell in love with it. And that channel is long gone. I don't have it anymore. I deleted it because I was like embarrassed by it, to be honest with you. But ever since then, I had known that that was what I wanted to do. Now, mind you, this was when I was like 12. So this was, God, this was well over 15 years ago now, which is crazy to think about, but here we are 12 years later, and things are working, and I love YouTube more and more every single day. Jack the Boss on YouTube asks, who would be in your top 5 TV show characters? And honestly, it is very hard to make a list of just the 5, but I think I narrowed it down to Negan from The Walking Dead, Dexter Morgan from Dexter, obviously, Jimmy McGill from Better Call Saul and Breaking Bad, Dennis Reynolds from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, and Carmy from The Bear. All of them, the reason I like them is I feel like, obviously, some sort of emotional connection to them as far as TV shows go, but it's very hard to narrow it down to just 5 because there's literally like so many I could put on this list. Alfonso Zavala on Instagram asks, do you think some franchises need to know when to end? I think the answer is an absolute yes. Some don't, and they think they could just milk a franchise to the death of it, and some have a clear, concise story and a vision, and I always respect that. So yeah, I do think some franchises absolutely need to know when to end. I'm looking at you, The Walking Dead. Friend of the channel, DNads, hi DNads, says, he asked on YouTube, how have TV shows or movies changed your life and overall perspective on it? I guess I would say in the form of creative inspiration. Whenever I watch a TV show, such as a prime example is like The Bear or Better Call Saul, where the creativity is just unmatched, it really just sparks my creativity and makes me want to make great things too. So I guess that's how. There's a lot of ways, but I think that's by far the biggest one for me. Alright, well, it started to get a little dark, so I figured let's just finish out the video back in the humble abode, the studio, as some people call it. I don't know if I call it that, but instead of the others being a little bit more scenic and whatever, now I'm just going to read down the list because there's a lot here that I didn't even get to. So this is just kind of be rapid fire as we go. We got one on the YouTube post from J_M who says, have you ever played the Walking Dead Telltale series? If not, would you play through it and review it? It's genuinely some of the best The Walking Dead content and story games of all time. Well, JM, I'm going to be honest with you, I have no plans on doing that on the channel. As it is, I barely have enough time to play games to begin with, let alone to make time to do the video editing of playing the game walkthroughs and all of that to begin with. Unfortunately, between a full-time job, having a girlfriend, I also have a side business as well, doing all those things, it's very hard to get time in for games too. I find times with shows and things like that, just because, you know, I'm commuting, things like that, I'm able to watch it on my commutes or things like that, and it's easy for me, but probably not. I'm not going to rule it out entirely, but probably not. Well, I had to switch cameras real quick because I just realized as I'm uploading the rest of the footage that I missed one question that was in my document from Leighton_RTX on Instagram, who asks, what's the one thing that motivates you every day besides doing YouTube content? I thought long and hard about this. I actually had to write down my answer, but there was this speech from Steve Jobs that has stuck with me for, it has to have been at least 15 years now. It's his Stanford commencement speech, and something that really has had a drastic impact on my life. And it's a long one, so I'm gonna put the link to his Stanford commencement speech down below. Every single element of it is absolutely fantastic, but a quote from it that really specifically resonated with me is, if you live each day as if it was your last, someday you'll most certainly be right. There's a couple other ones that really stuck with me too, like you can't connect the dots looking forward, you could only connect them looking backwards, so you have to trust in something, your gut, destiny, life, karma, whatever it is. And the ending quote, it's a motto that I live by now, and it's stay hungry, stay foolish. That speech has literally changed my life, and it motivates me every day, and I've tried to follow in some of the guidance that was in that speech forever, and I can't say enough how pivotal that speech has been for me, so definitely go check that out. Now back to the rest of the questions. Next one comes from Movie Night Entertainment. This is also on YouTube, saying, how much wood could a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood? I'm gonna say about 3 woods. Maybe 3, maybe 4, something like that. Okay, next one down we have from Darth Tater 5802. Who's your favorite fictional character of all time? Also, what do you think of Glenn's death in The Walking Dead? I'm going to start with the Glenn question and say that I think for sure, I think because it was from the source material and because in the source material it worked so well, I think they had to do it. Unfortunately, the difference, and it's actually going to be in my next video all about Negan and the differences between him in the comics and the show, the truth of the matter is, in the comics, Glenn was kind of more of a background character. He wasn't like a full background character, but he wasn't as crucial to the story as Glenn in the show was, and that's highly attributed to Stephen Ewan, who did such a phenomenal job at playing Glenn. So, did it work for me on screen? Yes. I think it was a necessary thing they had to do, just like the Red Wedding or something like that. They had to do it. It was one of those things that had to be done, but I understand why people didn't like it, because I think Stephen Ewan brought a lot of life to the character that wasn't there, and not only that, the dumpster death fake-out thing that happened was absolutely atrocious. They knew they were going to kill off Glenn. Why the hell would they do that? That was just really dumb. And as far as my favorite fictional character of all time, it's really tough to pick. Just like one of the questions I answered earlier about the 5 characters, I guess I'm gonna have to go for this one. I'm gonna have to go with Jimmy McGill, maybe. Just because I really, really genuinely love his story, both in Better Call Saul and in Breaking Bad, and especially with the added context of Better Call Saul, watching Breaking Bad is a lot more tragic. So I'm gonna go with him. Dwight837 says, "Do you think killing Bruegel was a mistake?" For those of you guys who don't know, Bruegel is a character in Dead City. No, I don't think it was a mistake. I liked him when he was in it, but I don't really think it was a mistake. Next is It's Rust YouTube, or YT. It's Rust YT. If you were writing what's next for The Walking Dead, how would you go about it? And I mean, what's next from Daryl Dixon Season 3, Dead City Season 3, and how would you handle Rick's return? Well, I think what I would definitely do for Daryl Dixon, I would show sort of a B-plot to the season of, I would show, what's the kid's name? Can't remember the kid's name, the little kid who went home to the Commonwealth, that Daryl saved. I can't remember his name. It's on the tip of my tongue. Whatever. I would make sure that they show him on screen getting home, and that when they get to the gates, their question being like, Daryl sent us here and all of that, and Rick finds out about this and is like, where was Daryl? Where was he? We've been looking for him ever since we got home. And then now it's kind of Rick slowly trying to find Daryl. That's what I would really like for Daryl Dixon. As a matter of fact, I feel like that's really easy to implement if they could get Andrew Lincoln back. For me, I think that works well, and I think it's something they could do. And that's a little simple thing to make the universe feel even more connected. I know Carol's in it and all of that stuff, but if they actually show the kid, Laurent, there's his name, if they actually show Laurent getting to the Commonwealth or Alexandria or wherever it is, I think that would just add so much to everything. So it's a good question. Dead City, I don't know. Maybe that'll be another video or something like that. Dead City, I don't know what they could do. Another comment comes from Ray Blair 3933, who says, "Do you agree with Rick cutting off his hand to escape? I don't think it was necessary. Also, him leaving behind the gauntlet blade hand was stupid." I liked him cutting off his own hand because I liked that we finally got a Rick without a hand, just because that was a big thing in the comics that happened very early on in the prison arc in the comics. So that happening in the show was nice. Was it necessary? No, I don't think so, but I'm glad they actually finally lost a hand for Rick, to be honest. Yeah, it kind of sucked that he got rid of the gauntlet blade though, for sure, so I agree with that. Agent Ray says, "I'm not sure if you've spoken on this or not, but it's the Lori question. Everybody hates Lori Grimes. I hate Lori, annoying character, but do you hate Lori?" I mean, she was an annoying character, but I don't know that I could say I hate her, just because I do think overall that Laurie served her purpose. I liked her in the comics better than I do, and she also had a different fate along with Judith in the comics than in the show. So tough to say for certain, but I don't hate her. I definitely think she's annoying though. Next one on the list comes from Big Time Epic 982, who says, besides Carol, do you prefer any of the TV show counterparts over their respective comic portrayals? That's a good question. Well, obviously Rick Grimes. I think Rick Grimes is an easy answer to go with. Andy Lincoln just did such a phenomenal job of portraying Rick Grimes that I actually like him better than the one in the comics. That being said, obviously there are some liberties there because the Rick Grimes in the comics gets way more story. So I liked the portrayal that Andy Lincoln did more. I mean, I think he was born to play Rick Grimes. I think he just brought so much life to that character and was just truly a phenomenal addition to that show. But on the other hand, Rick in the comics is better given he has more arcs, things like that. So yeah, I'd have to go with that. Damian Lopez 3944 says, Jerry, I gotta ask, will you give the movie Primitive War a shot? It comes out in August and it's rated R and has dinosaurs. Also, it won't be like The Walking Dead where the characters are safe. I don't know anything about it. I'd have to check that out. Never seen any of, like, I know it's not related, but I've never seen any like dinosaur movies like Jurassic Park or anything like that. Never been really the biggest thing for me. But maybe if the trailer looks good, maybe I would check it out. So thank you for commenting that. SimbaFan 2024-E30 commented actually quite a bit, and this is going to be the last. So I was initially going to do, and just for the record, guys, if you're going to do future Q&As, which we're going to do this at the end, try to keep it to just one question, just so it's fair for everyone. But I'm going to make an exception to this one because SimbaFan asked 4 questions here, so I'm just going to run down the list. Q&A first one, hey Jerry, I especially miss how realistic the characters used to be. Like the characters in season 1 felt like real people, whereas now they feel like invincible superheroes. You know what I mean? Yes, I do. I mean, the earlier seasons, no one felt safe. It felt like a grounded story, but now it doesn't. Daryl feels like a superhero. Rick feels like a superhero. Michonne feels like a superhero, especially them being like, when we're together, we could do anything. Like, shut the fuck up. Like, what? So yes, I do think that it's a drastically different show now. So these characters, they have plot armor. So yeah, for sure. SimbaFan also says, hey Jerry, I honestly really do miss how grounded in, oh wait, this is the same one. Is this the same one? I really do. Sorry, no it's not. I really do miss how grounded and realistic The Walking Dead used to be back in season 1 per se. To me, The Walking Dead doesn't feel realistic anymore. I also agree with that. I'm not sure that's as much as a question, but I do agree with that completely. SimbaFan 2024 also says, Q&A, hey Jerry, do you think that Carl's death really was the true downfall for the AMC universe, and that after it happened, there was no way for them to recover? Yes, 1,000,000%. I think it was the worst decision the show ever made. They killed off the entire story by doing that, and it really was just absolutely disgraceful that they did that. SimbaFan 2024 also said in one more comment, hey Jerry, do you think the Walking Dead franchise should have ended after The Ones Who Lived wrapped? No, because I did think Dead City and Daryl Dixon seasons 1 were really good, so I think there was more to tell there, but The Walking Dead, The Ones Who Lived did feel like finally at least there was some form of a natural conclusion. Now, I said I was done with the post. There's also a few more questions. I know this is running really long, guys. There's also a few more questions that were on another video that I saw that I also said to leave questions on. Oh, this is going to be a hard name to pronounce. Gilherme Pinheiro 5342. I definitely butchered that name. I'm so sorry. Said, do you like Harry Potter? Are you going to watch the Harry Potter TV series on HBO? I don't have a problem with Harry Potter. I never finished it. I've seen the first 5 movies. Just lost a little bit of interest, but because I've seen them when I was a kid and grew an interest then, yeah, I think I will. I think I will check out this series. I don't know if I'm going to cover it or not. Time will tell. We'll see. But I mean, I have been seeing the posts of it and the announcements, and it's a little exciting to me just because it's a nostalgic thing for me. So yeah, maybe I will check it out. But again, I've never finished it to know like how the story ends or anything. Another one comes from Kevin Lambert 797, who says, "Are you ready for The Walking Dead to end? And do you think they waited too long for Rick and Daryl reunion?" Yes, I'm ready for The Walking Dead to end, and yes, I think they waited too long for the Daryl reunion, 100%. Death Fox 13 says, "What's my favorite season of television?" It's a good question. I think the first one that comes to mind, and I don't want to make this a long answer, the first one that comes to mind is Better Call Saul Season 6. That was just, I think, a masterpiece of TV. Just a true masterpiece of TV. Let's see here. Sasquatch212 says, "Have you ever considered doing The Walking Dead retrospectives and reviews? Would be a good series for the channel." I do agree it would be a good series. I don't know that I've ever considered it. I think Corrado's Mystery Shack does such a phenomenal job with those as it is. But I do think my videos about things from the comics are in a way a nod to retrospects too. I am going to continue those. So I'm going to have more ones like the Carl one I just did, like the Rick one I did, the Rick and Andrea one I did, and the creepiest story in the comics, which was all about Thomas Richards. I'm gonna have a lot more of those on the channel. I'm working on a Negan one right now, and I got a lot more in the pipeline, like a Dwight one, a Michonne one, things like that. So you'll probably see it in more of that fashion than like a The Walking Dead retrospective. I don't want to step on Corrado's too much. He does such incredible videos. Ray Phillips 700 says, "Are you excited for Daryl Dixon season 3? Question for the Q&A. Not at all. No, I have no interest in it. Well, maybe something's going to happen in it that will excite me, but as of right now, literally zero. I thought season 2 was fucking terrible. And there's nothing there. I do like Daryl and Carol, so them in a full season together, maybe something, but no, I have no excitement for it. And then finally, this is the last question. You guys have been here a long time now, so thank you for sticking with me. Daryl Seymour I2F says, "What is your favorite TV show that isn't finished yet?" It's 2. Can I answer 2? Is that all right? It's definitely From, and it's also, oh, no, it's 3. Fuck. It's From, Dexter Resurrection, and The Bear. The Bear is absolutely outstanding. I didn't finish season 4 yet. I didn't finish that yet, but I love the show. And I know a lot of people thought season 3 was a little bit slow for them. I love season 3 too. I just think it's an all-around incredible show. Yeah. Okay, wait, there was one more question. I'm so sorry, guys. One more question. This is it, I promise. I just went through everything. This is it. Simba Fan 2024 had another question, and I missed it. Q&A, "Hey, Jerry, I honestly do feel that Joel's death was a huge mistake and that it definitely hurt The Last of Us Season 2, and replacing him with Bella was kind of a mistake." Well, that wasn't really a question, but I think they were insinuating to get my opinion on it. I think at large the concept of Joel dying was a mistake, but I do think it told a really good story. And replacing them with Bella was a mistake too. I agree. I don't think that's Bella Ramsey's fault per se, but Pedro Pascal just carried that show. And Bella was good in the first season because she was a younger character, but in this season it just felt like tonal whiplash with her only. So yeah. Okay, well that was my Q&A. This was a long one, so if you made it to the end, definitely comment the illustrious dolphin on this one. Yeah, we're gonna do more of these, so how about this? On this video, comment your Q&A questions for the next one, just so whenever I do a next one, we go right into that. This was really fun. It was fun for me to get out and vlog in Hoboken too. That was pretty cool. It's weird because I never do that, but this video is running way too long, so I'm gonna wrap it up here. So with all that out of the way, thank you again so much for watching this video, and until the next one, I'll talk to you later. Peace out.